Hello YouTube and fellow Star Wars collectors! On this episode of Toys Are the Way, we'll be taking a look at a character from the first wave of vintage collection figures for 2025, Farm Boy Luke Skywalker from A New Hope. Welcome back, gang. Here we have the first vintage collection action figure review for the channel in 2025, and I am very excited that it is Luke Skywalker from A New Hope. This is one that I have been wanting to see added to the collection for quite some time because clearly we needed a definitive update. Just take a look at the old VOTC figure over here, and yeah, this is a drastic and much needed upgrade for our collections. Additionally, a huge reason why I never take A New Hope photos is just like, take a look at this Luke. It's just not very good. So I'm actually very excited that this opens the door and reinvigorates me to take some shots from A New Hope. So really looking forward to that as well. And yeah, this is a character that used to be on my top 25 list for the SWTVC March Madness brackets, and it's great that we're finally getting this one added to the collection. But with all that said and done, don't forget to smash a like on this video, subscribe if you're new, or even become a channel member, and let's take a closer look at the packaging and figure. Taking a look at our vintage style packaging, we have the Star Wars racetrack prominently displayed with the Hildebrand logo in the top right corner, followed by Luke Skywalker on an orange name pill color. We have that wonderful image of Farm Boy Luke looking off into the Tatooine suns with the Kenner logo down below, and all things are just screaming nostalgia and harking back to that original Kenner action figure release. Additionally, we have this nice new 375 upgrade with a number of accessories displayed on a bubble. On the back, he is VC344 in the line, Luke Skywalker, and we have a small description of the character, followed by the Vintage Collection logo, and additional images of the card and figure. So all in all, this is the Luke Skywalker I was looking for, a definitive 375 release on a card that I can now add to my collection and carded display. Taking a look at Luke Skywalker out of the packaging and focusing on the photoreal and portrait, I think they've actually done a pretty decent job with this figure. Now I know some people were concerned because this has got to be our definitive Farm Boy Luke and it needs to look like Mark Hamill, and that's just always a character that they have a lot of trouble with. But I do think they've actually done a really good job. The only thing I think they could have done to improve this figure is maybe added a tiny bit more paint application to the hair just to give it a little bit more of a dirty blonde look and give it some of those wingtips and that like 70s hairstyle that he had going on. Because if you bring in a figure that we already have in our collection, X-Wing Pilot Luke, he does have some of that wingtip sculpting on the hair, which I think could have helped, sell this a little bit more in terms of that Mark Hamill. But looking at the face itself, I kind of think I like the new Farm Boy Luke a lot more. It just looks a little bit, more accurate at certain angles, and yeah, I don't know. It's just really kind of speaking to me, but that's my only critique, maybe just a little bit more sculpting there for that wingtip. And if you're curious, the X-Wing Pilot Luke head does fit on this figure. You simply need to pop that head off and then remove the barbell that's on this new Farm Boy version, and you can put this head right on there. Now, I will say that this doesn't look totally right to me. I feel like this head is a little bit larger than the other one, but it does have a pretty nice likeness, and you kind of get the Kenner vibes here with the very blonde hair. So let me know in the comments down below which one you think looks better. Luke comes with a total of 3 accessories: his lightsaber, unlit hilt, and remote control for the droid restraining bolt. Both the lightsaber and remote control are able to peg onto the action figure's belt for easy storage. Moving on to the rest of the figure and the articulation, Hasbro has delivered another 375 masterpiece with this figure. Now, of course, he comes with the now standardized barbell hips, which is just always fantastic to see. He has a swivel at the thigh. He's got a wonderful hinge here at the knee, which pretty much goes a little bit past 90 degrees, so that is fantastic. He's got rocker ankles, which is just an absolute must. And for the most part, he will do some nice wide stances and pose very nicely on your collection. The soft plastic here also doesn't really hinder that, so that is also very, very nice to see. Moving on up, he's got a nice torso crunch, which got a little bit of articulation there. He can go side to side, pretty much 360 degrees. And then moving on to the arms, he's got a load of hinges at the shoulders and elbows. That's pretty much at 90 degrees, which is just great to see. And then he does have hinges at the wrist. Both of them are the forward motion hinges, which is just really nice, and it'll help him pose with that saber in a number of different stances. Also on the head, we have the barbell, which is nice, so he's got some pretty good motion there. And yeah, for the most part, he's got wonderful articulation, and he is a drastically nice upgrade to the previous figure that was in many of our collections. Taking a look at his tunic, it's got some nice sculpting and detail on it as well, and towards the bottom on the soft plastic piece, you can actually see there's some paint application and like weathering there to make it look a little bit more dirty and different from the bright white plastic that they used on the upper part of the tunic. Looking at his boots, those are also a off-white color, which is actually very accurate to the actor's costume that he used on the movie, and yeah, everything looking pretty good there. Yeah, just taking a look at this Luke, it is such a nice upgrade to what we had before, and I am really looking forward to taking some shots of this figure. And then lastly, we have to take a look at the belt. Got some really nice silver paint applications there. You can see all that same silver being used on his lightsaber and his other accessories and the little buttons on the back of the belt. And yeah, a really, really nice, phenomenal upgrade to a definitive character from the Star Wars universe. And lastly, I wanted to show a comparison with the previous VOTC Luke Skywalker here on the left, and he is just absolutely ridiculous. He looks nothing like Mark Hamill, and this new TVC definitive upgrade is just absolutely worlds apart. So very happy to leave this figure in the past and move on and finally be able to take some nice A New Hope shots. I also wanted to show you all the accessories that we have gotten over the years with different Luke Skywalkers, and I will let you know that every single one of these accessories actually fits and works with this new TVC update. So that is absolutely phenomenal, and we will take a look at that in just a moment. The other thing I wanted to kind of point out is the only redeeming factor of this VOTC Luke is his belt. So if I borrow that from him for just a second, we have this longer pouch here on the back. And that is actually not present on this TVC Farm Boy Luke. And that's okay, because Luke actually only had that larger pouch for a little bit of the beginning of the movie, and pretty much once he goes to look for R2-D2 out in the Dune Sea and, you know, meets up with Obi-Wan Kenobi, he doesn't have that pouch anymore. So not necessarily a deal breaker that it's not included on this release. I might slice this off and maybe tack it onto one of these as a custom, because I don't know if Hasbro will ever go back just to give us that one pouch. So yeah, that's the only redeeming factor that I have from this VOTC version. So a nice accessory to have, and it allows me to make a little bit of a custom for some of those earlier shots. But yeah, very happy to definitely leave this crazy looking figure in the past. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below if you're going to be throwing that figure into the trash compactor. TVC fans, we have taken our first steps into a larger world. The definitive A New Hope Luke Skywalker was a must-have for the vintage collection, and I think it's safe to say that many fans are relieved to finally have this proper update added to our collection rooms. Luke Skywalker is one of the most important characters in the Star Wars universe, and the latest Episode 4 release was an essential Finish to 96 action figure for the vintage collection. Once again, Hasbro has delivered another 375 masterpiece. The newly tooled Farm Boy Luke Skywalker is a very welcome addition to our definitive release lineups and the Make the Mains campaign. Luke sports exceptional sculpting and detail throughout, and is armed with the modern barbell hip system, swivels at the thigh, hinges galore, and rocker ankles, and will have absolutely no problems taking on the Empire. I have got to say that posing this figure was a breeze, and once again Hasbro keeps delivering spectacular works of art when it comes to these newly tooled figures. I think it's safe to say that fans are always in favor of premium articulation and sculpting, especially when it comes to definitive main characters like Luke Skywalker. While VC344 Farm Boy Luke is able to grip and interact with each of the included accessories, such as the lightsaber and remote control for the restraining bolt, the figure unfortunately does not have a trigger finger, which is not ideal for escaping the Death Star. But with a simple swap from a different vintage collection figure, you should have no problems saving the princess. I hope you enjoyed this video and taking a look at this latest addition to our definitive Skywalker family lineup, Farm Boy Luke Skywalker from A New Hope. Feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And don't forget to smash a like on this video and subscribe if you're new to the channel. It really helps and is always greatly appreciated. Thanks everyone, and may the Force be with you.